What if I told you the most powerful move you can make after heartbreak is to do nothing? Not call, not text, not chase, just disappear. Let her feel the void. Let her sit in the silence she created. You see, when someone breaks your heart, your first instinct is to fix it, to talk, to explain, to prove your worth. But that instinct, that's weakness masquerading as love. That's your ego bleeding in public, and that's exactly what you must kill. This is not about revenge. This is about resurrection. Stoicism teaches us to accept what we cannot control and to dominate what we can, our thoughts, our actions, our discipline. This isn't about making her jealous. It's about making yourself untouchable. You don't heal by hoping she comes back. You heal by becoming someone she no longer has access to. And when you move in silence, when you show restraint, when you walk away without flinching, that is when she starts to feel it. Not when you cry, not when you beg, but when you vanish, rebuild, and reappear without a single trace of the man she left behind. This video is for the man who's been betrayed and is done bleeding. It's time to rise. It's time to let her feel the weight of losing you. If you're done being the emotional crutch, if you're ready to reclaim your throne, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. My silence speaks louder than begging. Now let's begin. Number 1, the pain is the signal. You wake up and she's the first thought. You check your phone like a ritual, hoping for a message, a missed call, anything. But there's nothing, just silence. That silence feels louder than any scream. Your stomach's in knots, your thoughts are racing, you can't eat, you can't sleep. That's heartbreak. And yeah, it's brutal, but it's not your enemy. It's your signal. The pain isn't here to destroy you. It's here to wake you up. Everything you're feeling right now, that's proof you were real. You cared. You invested. But now it's time to redirect that intensity. A Stoic understands that emotions are not to be feared, they're to be studied. You sit with that pain. You interrogate it. You strip it down. You ask, what is this teaching me? Where did I lose myself? What red flags did I ignore? Most men run. They jump to distractions, parties, women, alcohol, dopamine, anything to shut off the noise. But that only delays the storm. The storm doesn't go away, it just waits. But not you. You don't run, you feel, and then you focus. Because pain is pressure, and pressure is what turns coal into a diamond. You don't numb it, you use it. You let it burn everything false to the ground. That version of you that needed her to feel whole, he's dying. Good, let him. What's being born in his place is a man who's complete on his own. And that man doesn't chase. That man doesn't beg. That man chooses who gets access to his energy. This is not heartbreak. This is your rebirth. The pain is not the problem. The pain is the path. Number 2, silence is a weapon. The most powerful thing you can say after she leaves is nothing. No long messages, no late-night texts, no emotional voice notes. Just silence. Cold, focused, deliberate silence. Most men think closure comes from talking, from explaining, from making her understand. Nope. Closure doesn't come from her. It comes from you. And silence, that's how you take your power back. Understand this. Your words won't bring her back. They won't change her mind. If she left, she made a choice, and now she lives with it. Don't try to rescue her from her own decisions. Let her feel them. Let her sit in the echo of your absence, because silence isn't weakness, it's dominance. It says, I'm not available for emotional chaos. I don't need to be heard to be healed. You don't explain your worth. You demonstrate it through distance. And here's what happens. First, she notices the silence. Then she starts to wonder. Why hasn't he reached out? That curiosity breeds tension. And that tension, it becomes regret. But only if you stay silent, only if you don't break. Because the moment you do, you reset the clock. You go back to zero. You hand her the power again. You're not doing this to play games. You're doing this to win yourself back. This is the discipline she never expected. You used to be the guy who'd over-explain, over-give, over-love. Not anymore. The new you, he's quiet, he's focused, he's rebuilding. And the less you say, the more she hears. Your silence screams, I don't chase, I elevate. Let her wonder, let her question, let her regret. But do not speak, not yet. Let the silence do what your words never could. Number 3, you owe her nothing. Stop thinking you owe her closure. Stop thinking you need to make peace, explain your side, or fix what she broke. You don't. You owe her nothing. Not a text, not a call, not a shred of your energy. She made a decision. Now she lives with the result. And if she thought walking away from you came without consequences, your silence will correct that assumption. Too many men stay stuck in guilt. Guilt for not being enough. Guilt for not doing more. Guilt for finally choosing themselves. But that guilt, that's programming. Society tells men to overextend, to prove their worth, to suffer in silence and call it strength. Nope, that ends now. You don't fix betrayal by over-delivering. You fix it by withdrawing your attention, your validation, your emotional labor. You were the consistent one, the loyal one, the one who showed up, and she still chose distance. So now you choose detachment. Because Stoic discipline isn't about being cold, it's about being clear. Clear that you're done giving to someone who didn't value what they had. Clear that your love isn't free, it's earned, and if she didn't earn it, she doesn't get it anymore. Detachment isn't bitterness, it's clarity. You're not angry, you're not vengeful, you're just unavailable. She had access to your soul, and she walked out. So now she knocks on a locked door. That's the consequence. That's the cost. And you don't owe her a key. If she reaches out, be polite, but brief, respectful, but distant. No emotion, no nostalgia, no slipping back into old patterns. You're not her therapist, you're not her rebound. You're the man she lost. Make her feel it. Number 4, emotional control is power. She might have taken your heart, but don't let her take your mind. This is where the real war is fought. Not in the texts, not in the memories. In your head, that's the battlefield. And if you don't learn to control your emotions, they will control you. You'll spiral, you'll react, you'll beg, you'll break. And in doing so, you'll destroy the very power you're trying to rebuild. A Stoic doesn't eliminate emotion, he commands it. He doesn't flinch at pain, and he doesn't feed drama. You have to learn to pause, to feel the heat and still remain cool. Because when you can control your reactions, you control the outcome. She might try to provoke a response. Subtle posts, mutual friends dropping hints, sudden messages after days of silence. It's bait. Don't bite. When you remain calm, centered, and unshaken, you become unpredictable. That unpredictability, it creates tension, mystery, attraction. But more than that, it shows you're no longer hers to toy with. You've upgraded. You've outgrown the emotional chaos, and that terrifies her. The man who once poured himself out for her has now become silent, strong, and stoic. Control means saying no to the urge to check her social media, no to stalking her status, no to fantasizing about closure. You're not obsessed, you're focused on you, your path, your evolution, because your peace is now the most expensive thing you own, and not everyone gets access. And when the storm inside you rages, you don't let it drown you. You observe it, then you outlast it. That's real power. That's Stoic discipline in motion. Let others drown in emotion. You rise above it. Cold, clear, complete. Number 5, attention is leverage. You want to break the dynamic? Stop giving her what she expects. Stop feeding the ego that walked away thinking you'd chase. Attention is currency, and you've been spending it like it's free. Every glance at her story, every like, every passive message sent through mutuals, it's validation. And it's time to cut the supply. When you pull your attention back, you force her into a vacuum. You create absence. And absence is loud. It makes people question. It makes people feel what they didn't when you were right there. See, she got used to you always being available, always checking in, always orbiting her world, even after she left yours. That ends now. You want her to feel the weight of losing you. Let her feel your absence, not just physically, digitally, emotionally, spiritually. Block if you need to, mute, vanish, not out of hate, but out of discipline. Because when you go silent and invisible, her mind does the work for you. She starts to ask, why isn't he watching? Is he with someone else? Did he move on that fast? That tension builds, and you didn't have to say a word. Most men don't understand how powerful attention is. They waste it trying to win back someone who already walked. But a Stoic man, he knows his energy is sacred. He doesn't offer it freely. He doesn't chase validation. He withdraws it surgically. And when she finally feels the cold, empty space you used to fill, that's when regret creeps in. You are the prize. You are the fire she walked away from. So stop lighting matches, hoping she sees the flame. Let the darkness remind her of what she lost. Number 6, build in the shadows. She's watching. Even if she's silent, even if she's gone, even if she blocked you, she's watching. Through fake accounts, through friends, through pure curiosity. That's how it works. And what you do next? It either confirms her choice or haunts her. That's why now is not the time to flex, not the time to post cryptic quotes or flashy distractions. This is the time to build, quietly, ruthlessly, in the shadows. You don't need to prove anything. You need to become something. The man who emerges from heartbreak should be unrecognizable, not because he's pretending, but because he's evolved. You hit the gym. You dive into your purpose. You stack wins in silence. No announcements, no explanations, just progress. Quiet, disciplined progress. While she's out chasing attention, you're stacking discipline. While she's numbing the pain, you're turning yours into focus. No one needs to see it, because when the results show, they'll speak for themselves. And that's when it hits her. He didn't collapse, he didn't spiral, he leveled up. Most men seek attention to feel better, but a Stoic man, he seeks purpose. He doesn't post his moves. He moves. He builds a life that makes the past version of himself look like a stranger. And when she finally checks back in, she won't recognize the man who used to wait on her texts, because he no longer needs them. He doesn't live for her attention. He lives for his mission. This is how you win, not with noise, but with silence and work. Let your evolution be so private, so disciplined, that when she finally sees you again, all she can say is, I never knew he had that in him. Number 7, the return of mystery. She thought she had you figured out, thought she knew your next move, thought you'd fold, reach out, or show up in her inbox again. But now, you've gone dark. No posts, no reactions, no signals. You've become a question mark, and that mystery, that's power. Because nothing creates curiosity like a man who stops explaining himself. Mystery is magnetic. Predictability kills attraction. When she could predict your emotions, your responses, your loyalty, she took them for granted. But now you've changed the script. You don't react, you don't announce, you don't explain your silence. You just become something new, something she can't decode. And that unknown, it eats at her. This is where the psychological shift happens. She starts checking in, not because she cares, but because she's confused. She starts wondering who you're with, where you've been, what you're thinking. She scrolls for signs, reads into silence, imagines worst-case scenarios, and all you've done is move in silence. You're not broadcasting your glow-up. You're not leaking your next move. You've gone from open book to locked vault. And that vault, that's where your value now lives. Because when people can't predict you, they crave understanding you. And she'll realize she lost access to a man who has evolved past needing to be understood. You don't rebuild yourself so she sees it. You rebuild because you see it. You're becoming the version of you that doesn't need validation, doesn't seek closure, doesn't play games. You're becoming dangerous in the best way, mysterious, disciplined, untouchable. Number 8, Let her sit with the silence. She expected noise, expected chaos, a reaction, a breakdown. Instead, she got silence. And now, that silence is screaming louder than any message you could have sent. No closure, no apology, no access, just stillness. And that stillness, it starts to haunt her. See, silence forces reflection, and reflection is brutal when you're the one who left. When you don't get to control the narrative, when you can't be the victim. That's the beauty of discipline. You're not ghosting her out of spite. You're letting her sit in the reality she created, a space without you, a timeline where you no longer exist in her world. And the longer she sits with that silence, the heavier it gets. She might post like she's thriving, laugh loud, smile wide, but that's surface-level noise. Inside, she's scrolling, she's waiting, she's wondering, because the silence isn't just quiet, it's final, and the mind fills in the blanks. Maybe you're with someone new, maybe you've changed, maybe you've moved on. That uncertainty is a slow burn. And you're not fueling the fire, you're just watching it burn. Let her sit with the version of you she thought would never walk away. Let her realize that access to you was a privilege, and she lost it. Not with a bang, not with a fight, but with a calm, collected withdrawal. That's the part that messes with her. That's what keeps her up at night. Not what you said, but what you didn't. You've become the silence she never saw coming. And now, she has to live with the echo. Number 9, the Stoic upgrade. This is where everything changes. You've cut the noise, mastered your emotions, reclaimed your attention, and now it's time for the upgrade. Not the surface-level makeover, the full transformation. Mind, body, focus, discipline. The version of you that rises from this heartbreak will not be the one she remembers. He'll be stronger, colder, wiser, and she won't get to know him. The Stoic man doesn't just recover, he ascends. He studies philosophy while others scroll. He hits the gym while others party. He builds businesses, crafts discipline, forges identity. No more talking about goals. He becomes them. And the irony? She'll notice. They always do. That quiet evolution makes noise without saying a word. You're not doing this to get her back. You're doing it because you're back. Back to yourself. Back to truth. Back to a version of you that doesn't depend on another person to feel worthy. And as you level up, you start to attract differently. Not because you're playing games, but because your energy has shifted. You're not chasing, you're choosing. This upgrade is personal. It's sacred. You don't post every move. You don't explain every step. You let the results speak. Your body sharpens. Your mind locks in. Your purpose expands. And every time she thinks of you, she's reminded she lost a man who evolved, a man she'll never get access to again. She left thinking you'd stay stuck. That's the version she walked away from. But the man you've become, he doesn't wait. He builds. And now, he's untouchable. Number 10. You were the prize all along. Here's the truth she didn't realize until it was too late. You were the prize, not the placeholder, not the backup plan, the prize. But she only saw it when your presence was gone. Because when a man is always available, he gets taken for granted. When a man gives without limits, he gets treated like he's replaceable. But the Stoic man, he knows his worth, and he never begs to be valued. She thought walking away would break you, that she could come back to the same version of you whenever she felt like it. But that man, he's gone. The one who waited, who gave too much, who hoped, he's buried in the ashes of who you used to be. And what's risen in his place is a man who knows, I am the asset, I am the force, I am the reward. This isn't ego, it's clarity. You're not arrogant for knowing your value, you're dangerous because now you own it. No more putting people on pedestals, no more losing yourself to keep someone else comfortable. You don't need validation. You don't chase attention. You command respect. And when she sees the life you're living without her, when she realizes you've become more without her than you ever were with her, that's when the regret hits. Not because you were cruel, but because you were kind, loyal, real. And now she knows she lost something rare, something she might never find again. You didn't lose her, she lost you, and that loss, that's permanent, because you don't go backward, you don't reopen closed doors, you move forward, cold, clear, controlled. That's the Stoic way. So now you know. She didn't break you, she revealed you. The pain, the silence, the withdrawal, that was never weakness. That was the rebirth of a man who finally chose himself. And when you choose yourself, the world notices. She notices. But by then, it's too late. You don't chase, you don't explain, you evolve. And evolution doesn't come with announcements. It comes with distance, with power, with the kind of discipline that turns heartbreak into fuel. This journey wasn't about getting her back. It was about getting you back. The you that forgot his value. The you that overgave. The you that now walks in silence, with purpose in his steps and fire in his eyes. That's what Stoic discipline is. Cold? Maybe. But calm, clear, focused, unshakable. You're no longer a man who reacts. You're a man who moves. Quietly, intentionally, powerfully. So let her feel the weight of losing you. Let her feel the silence. Let her regret it in the quiet hours when no one's watching. But you stay locked in, because the real win isn't revenge, it's transformation. If this hit different, if you felt this in your bones, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. I walk away with power, not pain. This is Stoic Blessing. Stay cold, stay focused, and never forget, you were always the prize.